everybody, how's it going? Stadman coming back at you today, and today I've got a box. I got a huge old box full to the brim, literally full of Kino Lorber Blu-rays from their recent sales. This is actually 2 sales worth of Kino Lorber Blu-rays. Am I a madman? Probably. But, yeah, I figured it was about time I got around to talking to you about all these things, because it's been at least a few months since the first sale. So, yeah, the first one I'll show you is probably the weirdest one, and that is, I bought a vampire motorcycle. I got this specifically because it looks absolutely ridiculous, terrible, but sometimes you have to buy terrible things just so you have something to laugh at, you know? It looks like something that's going to be hilarious for all the wrong reasons, I guess. Maybe the right reasons. It depends on your own perception, I guess. What some people would say is a movie that's so good, so bad that it's good. You know, I try not to use that term anymore, but that's a term that many people are familiar with, so I'll just use it as like a nomenclature, a way of describing kind of the reason that I got this. I got this because I actually don't expect it to be good at all. I expect it to be terrible, but I expect it to be so terrible that it's going to make me laugh. And if it makes me laugh and it entertains me, is it really terrible then? You know, that's the point I'm getting at. So, yes, I hope that this is everything that I'm thinking it will be. Next up, I got Drawing Flies, which is a rather interesting film. I haven't seen it yet, but I didn't even know it existed until I saw it on sale through Kino's site, through their recent sale. And apparently it's kind of, as you can see, Smodcast, it is apparently kind of a part of the View Askew universe, but not really. And it was like made at around the same time. It's a View Askew production, so it is really a part of the View Askew universe. And if I remember correctly, it stars Jason Lee, it stars Jason Mewes. It was Kevin Smith was the executive producer, as was Scott Mosier. You know, a lot of names from the View Askew universe involved with this film, and it's like apparently a movie about a bunch of people who go looking for Bigfoot or something like that. It just sounds so weird, potentially hilarious. I mean, it is from that time period of the View Askew universe where they were doing a lot of funny, ridiculous stuff. So, again, I'm expecting great things from this one. Hopefully it doesn't let me down. Hopefully they end up finding Bigfoot, and who knows what happens from then. But Drawing Flies, I can't wait to check that out. If you didn't know it existed, well, now you do, and now you know you have to see it, right? Next up here I got The Hitch-Hiker. This is the first, I don't think it's the first, but it's one of the classic tales of, you know, don't pick up hitchhikers, they're all murderers that are going to kill you, you know. It's one of those takes on it. It's one of the first ones. And as you can see, from the Library of Congress, no less. Wanted to see this because I recently got is it Hitcher, I think? I think it was Hitcher that I got. The one with Rutger Hauer from the 80s, from HBO, I think is the one who did, they're the company who did it. And I've heard such good things about that, but I never actually got around to seeing that movie. And by the way, rest in peace, Rutger Hauer. I'm glad that I have that DVD because I don't think it's available any other way. But this was available via Blu-ray, and they had a really good deal on it from Kino during one of their sales, so I decided to pick it up and can't wait to check it out. Next up I got Mario Bava's Black Sunday, a classic from this era. I have never seen it though, so I wanted to get around to finally checking it out, and so I got it as part of the sale, and at least looks pretty damn good. I can't wait to finally check it out, but we shall see. All I know for sure is it's Mario Bava, and it's a classic, and it's one that a lot of people love, so I felt like it was a pretty easy risk to take, even if I have never seen it before. It's something that everybody else seems to love, so I should probably see it at some point, so there you go. Now it's in my collection. Next up, this was the bigger... That was like those are the 4 that I got during the one sale, and these are the rest that I got during the other sale. So there's a mix of horror and more serious fare in here. Start things off with more serious fare. I got Judgment at Nuremberg because, sadly, some things that are happening in the United States right now are making me think we might have an event like this coming up in our history. And I'm not looking forward to it, but, you know, it's important to remember your history. And that's why I wanted to check this out. Whenever I see something happening in my country or in the world around me that kind of makes me cringe or makes me kind of worry about something or another, I like to go watch movies that are related to that subject, that are related to similar things that have happened in the past. Historical dramas based on that kind of thing. So that's why I got this, because I had never seen it before and I really wanted to, and I felt like I owed it to myself given everything going on right now in the world. So, yes. And I actually watched this the second that I got it and really loved it. It's a fantastic movie. And again, anybody who doesn't know their history and doesn't know the significance of this event should definitely check this one out, especially with everything going on in the world around us. Next up, to make things less political, I got The Skull, which is about a floating skull that goes around killing people. Or so the trailer would tell you. It looks pretty damn cool. It looks pretty interesting. And it stars Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee, kind of like Horror Express, which I loved. So, can't go wrong there. I've never seen this movie before, though, and that's part of the reason I wanted to see it, because I've heard so many things about it. So, yeah, this is one of those things you actually see clips from in, like, film class and whatnot. So, definitely one that I wanted to check out finally. And, now it's in my collection. Twice Told Tales. This one is based on tales from Nathaniel Hawthorne, I think. Nathaniel Hawthorne. Yes. Classic tales from Nathaniel Hawthorne. But yes, as you can see, it also stars Vincent Price. This is one of those, as far as I can tell, anthology movies that has several different stories told in the same film. And I love anthology horror. It's so good. It's great. It's like seeing several 30-minute episodes of, like, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Or Amazing Stories? Or Twilight Zone. You know, I love those kind of spooky, creepy kind of stories. Why wouldn't I love it when it's on film as well? You know what I mean? So, yeah, I have traditionally enjoyed these movies. I've never seen this one, though, but, you know, you can't go wrong with Vincent Price and Nathaniel Hawthorne, so decided to get that one. And speaking of which, I also got Tales of Terror, which is another anthology horror movie starring Vincent Price. This one, however, tells tales from Edgar Allan Poe. So all the stories are based on Edgar Allan Poe stories. But yes, I watched the trailer and I was like, more Vincent Price, more anthology horror, and it looks really good. Hell yeah! So, yes, glad to have this in my collection as well. Getting back to serious things for a moment. They Shoot Horses, Don't They? This one, for those who don't know, is a story about, like, a Depression-era event where they would have these dance competitions. You know, it's interesting that they have So You Think You Can Dance now, and we're like about to hit a recession, and it started, I believe that show started during the recession. It's interesting because these dance competitions back in the day, this one was for like $1,500 or something like that, and it was during the Depression, and they had people literally like dancing themselves to death just to get a few bucks, because, you know, they couldn't afford to survive at the time. They couldn't get it. They couldn't find a job. There weren't any jobs that they could get, and so it was just as viable to them an option in some cases as finding employment, competing for money in a dance competition. And what's interesting is that as time went on, these dance competitions got more and more involved. There was more things they had to do. It reminds me of this story. I can't remember who it was from. I think it's Langston Hughes. Langston Hughes, who did a story about a young black man who got like a scholarship or a chance to compete for a scholarship. What he didn't realize was the competition to get the scholarship was literally like a boxing match. And he was going up against a bunch of other black kids his age, beating the crap out of one another just to potentially get a scholarship to a great Ivy League school. So it kind of reminds me of that in a lot of ways. And that's kind of that's the politics of this film, I think, and of the book that it's based on. It's just asking you, is this humane? Is this who human beings are, that we do this to one another? That we force people to work and like to dance, monkey dance into their grave, basically, just for the opportunity to maybe win some money? Like, good grief, it is just insane. So, yeah, the amount of stuff that they have to go through in this movie is just insane, and it'll make you think twice about the way that people are treated who earn less money in this country. You know what I mean? Sidney Pollack film, too. Sidney Pollack. So great stuff. Cannot be denied. Cannot. Highly recommended. I loved it. Another serious one that I got here, Far From Heaven. If you look closely up on that shelf, you can see All That Heaven Allows, the Criterion edition of All That Heaven Allows. This is I wouldn't say like an attempt to remake that, but it's inspired directly by All That Heaven Allows. Director Todd Haynes did this movie in homage to All That Heaven Allows. And you can tell because there are a lot of similarities, striking similarities in terms of the point of the movie, the plot of the movie. But it takes a bit of a different twist in a lot of areas. So it's not exactly the same. But the way they play with color in this, that's a notable Technicolor film with a lot of incredible colors. And the use of colors in that is just amazing. Really pops on the screen. Very similar with this one, where the use of colors is just, it's amazing. So, yes, this is a very good movie, and it just recently came out from Kino Lorber. So I've been waiting for it to drop down in price to a price that I wanted to pay. Finally went on sale. I think it was like $11 or $12 or something like that, but pretty damn good price for something that I've been wanting in my collection for quite a while. Speaking of newer titles from Kino Lorber that went on sale during their most recent sale, Broken Flowers. This is a Jim Jarmusch film. Jim Jarmusch, who recently did The Dead Don't Die, I think that's what it's called. The one with Bill Murray and a bunch of other notable comedians and actors, including Iggy Pop as a vampire, or not a vampire, but a zombie. Jim Jarmusch also did Coffee and Cigarettes. He also did Down by Law and Night on Earth. He did a lot of great films that if you haven't seen them, I highly recommend seeing them. Jim Jarmusch is an amazing visionary filmmaker. But yes, Broken Flowers is one that he got Bill Murray to work with him on, and it's a fantastic but a bit more serious film. He's going kind of looking for his his son, I think? Yes. He's looking for his son. He spends the entire movie looking for his son. And, it's just an interesting story to see Bill Murray in. And finally went on sale for like $10 during the sale. Very happy with that. Next up I got Chosen Survivor, which doesn't look very good, I will be honest. but it does, like, the concept behind it, the plot, was pretty interesting to me. First of all, it's like a post-apocalyptic film. So the apocalypse has taken place, and there are all these people who got put in this bunker. Think Fallout, basically. Like they're put in a vault, Fallout vault, and they're just trying to survive when suddenly a bunch of bats from the cave where this vault was placed wake up and start attacking them. That sounds ridiculous, I know. I know it sounds ridiculous, and I'm sure it is ridiculous. I'm sure it's terrible. But just, I love anything post-apocalyptic, and the very real vault tech feel that I was getting to this, the very real Fallout feel that I was getting to this by watching the trailer, I was just like, I have to check this out. So, went ahead and picked this one up as well. Also got Cover Up. Got it because it looks like a pretty good film noir that I'd never heard of or really seen before. So, wanted to check it out. Don't really have anything else to say about it other than it was a film noir that I wanted to see. Next up I got Making Contact, which I've heard is not a very good movie, but it's one of Roland Emmerich's first films. I think, in fact, it is his first film. Clearly kind of inspired by Poltergeist and other movies at the time, and doesn't look necessarily great, but I figured it would at least be somewhat entertaining. I mean, Roland Emmerich is a pretty entertaining filmmaker. Well, let's see what one of his first films looks like, at least. And the price went down really low on this one. I think it was like $5 or $6 or something crazy like that. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll go ahead and get it. Next up, I got Burnt Offerings, which, if I remember correctly, I have seen with my friends Skinslip and Zeren Isaac, and I remember really liking this one. So I decided to go ahead and get it. Haunted house film. Can't go wrong with that. Yes, I'm going quickly. I'm sorry, but, I'm just getting tired of doing this video, guys. There's so much to go through. So, yes, next up I got Avanti. If you know me, you know I like Billy Wilder. There's another Billy Wilder movie I've never seen, and it stars Jack Lemmon, just like The Apartment, which I really love. Just like Some Like It Hot, which I really love. He worked with Jack Lemmon on a lot of films, including this one, which I hadn't seen yet, so I really wanted to. And, yes, glad to be able to get this. It, I think, just recently came out from Kino Lorber, and that's why the sale actually wasn't that good on this one. I think it was like $13, but I was like, you know what? I really want to see this because it's Billy Wilder, it's Jack Lemmon. I know it's going to be good, so yeah, I hadn't got this one. Next up is one I've been waffling on for like a year now, and that is Buffalo Bill and the Indians, or Sitting Bull's History Lesson. This one looks like a pretty interesting, if not hilarious, take on the old Wild West shows. I've never seen it or hadn't really heard of it until last year when I started buying stuff from Kino Lorber through their sales. And they had this on sale back then, and I was considering getting it back then, but just decided not to until this sale when they had it brought down to like $8 or something like that. And this is moved by Robert Altman. Robert Altman has done a lot of amazing films. We all know this. He's an amazing filmmaker, one of the best filmmakers of all time. I don't think it can be argued. And I just wanted to see what this one was like because it looked like something he might be pretty good at doing, because I know he's done westerns in the past, and he's been a pretty damn good filmmaker when it came to westerns, so I'm sure he has an interesting take on westerns. And this tells the tale of the Wild West shows of like the 1910s, 1920s, 19 whatevers, you know what I mean? Where they would have this whole area, they'd buy up all this old land, or maybe not even buy it. I can't remember if they bought it or they just used it, but they'd go to like this old ghost town basically and turn it into a town where they had like actors come in and pretend to be like old Wild West characters and whatnot, including characters like Buffalo Bill and Annie Oakley and yes, Sitting Bull and stuff like that. They had a bunch of people showing up to perform in this like version of the West that everybody wanted to believe in that never really existed, you know what I mean? So I feel like this is probably another one of those deconstructions of the Western. I love Westerns that kind of deconstruct the mythos of the West, and so I definitely was interested in seeing this when I first found out about it, and now that it went down to $8, I decided to pick it up. Can't wait to check it out. Next up, I got Black Sabbath, another Mario Bava movie. As I mentioned earlier, I got Black Sunday in the previous sale, and then I got Black Sabbath because, well, it's hard to go wrong with Mario Bava, and again, this is one of those really popular ones that he did, so I wanted to check it out, and I'm expecting really good things. This is what I'm going to be watching for Halloween this year. And then last but not least, another one I'll be watching for Halloween this year, The Ghost of Sierra de Cobre. The Ghost of Sierra de Cobre. This one was an interesting one because I saw it and I was like, I don't even know what the hell that is. Come to find out, it was originally supposed to be a series, like a television series. It was a pilot for a television series. Or that's what it started out as. But they didn't pick up the pilot, so they turned the pilot into a movie instead. And this was created by Robert Stevens, who worked on Alfred Hitchcock Presents and The Twilight Zone. And it was written and produced by Joseph Stefano of Psycho and TV's The Outer Limits. So there were some pretty interesting names behind this, and I was like, well, I do really want to see what they did there. And just based on what I saw from like a mashup trailer that somebody did online, it looked like a really interesting film. So I definitely want to check this one out. Can't wait to check it out. It's one of those weird ones that kind of fell through the cracks. So, yeah, can't wait to check this one out for Halloween as well. And that is finally and mercifully that. That's the entire box of Kino Lorber titles that I got. That's a big pile of Blu-rays. So yeah, that'll do it for me today. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you later. Peace.